So what's up, family? We're about to get into this Ashlee Jenae story, and may she rest in peace. A lot of her friends and supporters, and even family, are thinking like this may be a cover up. So we're about to get into it. I don't know too much about it, and let's find out together.
To a full-blown international investigation. Less than 24 hours ago, we spoke about the story of her passing in Tanzania, and since then, the floodgates have opened. What was initially labeled a suicide by Tanzanian authorities is now being challenged by a second autopsy and a grieving mother's testimony.
My daughter Ashley, she's no longer here with us, and we're trying to find out why. The next chapter of her life. She called us and FaceTimed us to share with us her travel. He told me that Ashley did something to herself and that she was being taken to the hospital. I said, what happened when? And he told me it had been 11 hours prior.
11 hours ago, and he just letting the mom know? That's real suspicious, man. I don't know how y'all feel about that, but that's real suspicious to me. That's a no for me,
It's a
dog.
no for me, dog.
I don't know, like, who do stuff like that. If something happened to you, if you with your significant other and something happened to you while you're out the country, I would call that parent of my significant other and let them know instantly. Like, by him waiting 11 hours, it seemed like, was he thinking of something to say? Why would you withhold that information from them? I don't get it.
Anything that would ever lead me to believe that she would do something to harm herself.
And a chilling social media comment from months ago that predicted
Whoa, that boy must got observation hockey. Robbie RR. I don't know why he would put the laughing emojis behind there, but that's crazy. But dude said this 20 weeks ago. That's insane.
this exact tragedy. Now you are watching Lionel B Stories, and we are diving deep into the new developments that the authorities might not want you to see. Now let's start with the official narrative coming out of Africa. The police in Tanzania officially ruled Ashley's death as suicide, claiming that she took her own life in the luxury resort she shared with her fiance, Joe McCann. But back in the States, the red flags are flying. Ashley's family didn't just accept that answer, they fought to get her home for an independent look, and the results, they change everything. Sources claim to the family are now reporting that a second independent autopsy found signs of strangulation. Now this is a massive shift in the case.
Whoa.
Strangulation is a calling card of a struggle, a sign of force, and it stands in direct opposition to the self-inflicted story being pushed abroad. If these findings hold up, we aren't looking at a woman in despair, we're looking at a crime scene. Now, why would the local authorities be so quick to close the book on a high-profile influencer and a wealthy CEO?
Now, they could be quick to close the book. Maybe he paid them off. Allegedly. You know what I'm saying? But this whole story sounds very fishy, man. Like, it seems like there's a lot of holes in what's going on in the narrative that's being put out there. Like, it feels very eerie. You know what I'm saying?
Have also came out indicating that Ashley and Joe got into a major altercation where they actually had to be
A major altercation on the same night of her death? Yeah, man. He hiding something, bro. He hiding something.
separated and placed in different rooms. And they said they actually feared for Ashley's well-being. Moments later,
What?
she was dead. Now, Ashley's mother officially spoke out, and her words were haunting. She describes a daughter who was full of life, a woman who was looking forward to her future, not planning an end to it. She's calling for transparency and demanding that the US government step in. When a mother tells you her child didn't do this, you probably should listen.
Right.
She's highlighting the inconsistencies in Joe McCann's story and the timeline of events that just don't add up. The grief in her voice is matched only by her resolve to get justice.
She called us and FaceTimed us to share with us her travel. He told me that Ashlee did something to herself and that she was being taken to the hospital. I said, what happened when? And he told me it had been 11 hours prior. She's never done anything that would ever lead me to believe that she would do something to harm herself.
But perhaps the most bone-chilling development comes from Ashlee's own Instagram feed. An old comment from 20 weeks ago has resurfaced and gone completely viral. A user warned Ashlee in plain English that her fiance was going to unalive her. At that time, it might have seemed like a hater comment or internet noise, but 20 weeks later, with Ashlee gone and an autopsy showing signs of strangulation, that comment looks like a prophetic warning from someone who saw the red flags long before the world did. Was there trouble in paradise that Ashlee was hiding from her followers? Also, where is Joe McCann in all of this? As a CEO of a major investment firm, he has the resources, the power, and the silence. While the internet is erupting with demands for this arrest, he remains shielded. We have to ask, does his status influence the investigation in Tanzania? We've seen this before.
Possible.
Wealthy individuals involved in tragedies abroad where the local system seems more interested in protecting tourism, money, than finding the truth. But we have to look further at the darker side of the timeline. Investigators and online sleuths are asking a heavy question. Was this a trip to Tanzania actually a getaway, or was it a calculated move?
Right.
Think about the logistics. If you're looking to commit a crime and get away with it, doing it on foreign soil adds layers of protection that you just don't have in the States. You're dealing with different jurisdictions, potential language barriers, and local authorities who might not have the same forensic resources as the FBI, and also being able to pay off the corrupt police. Now, the theory being discussed is whether Joe McCann felt that the fog of travel, the chaos of a safari, the distance from home, and the lack of immediate oversight would make it easier to stage an accident. If this was planned, the location wasn't just a vacation spot, it was a strategic choice. He may have believed that once the local police signed off on an accidental cause of death, the case would be closed before it even crossed back over the Atlantic. But as we've seen, the family isn't letting the distance stop them from demanding a deeper look into what really happened.
Rightfully so. Like, I know if anything happened to me on foreign soil, my family gonna raise hell about it. So they doing what they supposed to do. So I'm with them on that.
That hotel room. Now, the conversation on social media has shifted. The rest in preference comments are going viral, and the circumstances are looking more sinister by the hour, with many of her past tweets causing arguments amongst various online communities. Also, people are wondering if there is a cover-up happening in Tanzania. It's up to the digital community to keep the pressure on. Now, the evidence is mounting and the self-unaliving narrative is crumbling. Between the strangulation findings and the mother's public plea, the truth is clawing its way to the surface.
According to the hospital's medical report, Ashlee had an unidentified mark around her neck. They wrote, according to her husband, he found
an unidentified mark around her neck. That could come from being strangled. You know what I'm saying?
hung herself on the door with several question marks. Ashlee was also taken to a second hospital who listed her cause of death as cerebral hypoxia by strangulation and suffocation.
Let's talk about the man at the center of this tragedy, Joe McCann. While the headlines focus on the tragic end, we have to look at the beginning. Who was this man that Ashlee trusted? When you dig into the history, a pattern emerges, not of a grieving partner, but of someone with a volatile past. Investigators and those close to the situation have pointed out massive holes in Joe's version of events. The story of a self-inflicted end just doesn't sit right when you look at the physical evidence and the sheer timeline of that night. Was Joe a man pushed to the brink, or was he a calculated individual who knew exactly how to manipulate the narrative? In many where are they now cases, the person left standing is the one who gets to write the history books. But the streets and the evidence usually tell a much different story. Now we have to address the elephant in the room. Ashlee Jenae wasn't exactly a sympathetic figure to everyone. Her disparaging remarks about black men were not just offensive, they were a loud and clear statement on where she stood. She made it known who she preferred and who she looked down upon. But here is the grim reality. Sometimes the very preference people boast about are the ones that lead them straight into a lion's den. There's a bitter irony in disparaging a group of people who would have been your brothers, your protectors, and your community, only to find yourself in the company of someone like Joe. It's a cautionary tale about the energy you put out into the world. When you move with hate or prejudice in your heart, you often find yourself isolated when the real monsters show up your door. At the end of the day, a life was lost, and a mother is left searching for answers
Right.
that Joe McCann seems unwilling or unable to give.
Hey yo, this ain't got nothing to do with it, but it kind of do. Every time I keep hearing them say Joe, it's making me think of Joe Goldberg. If you know, you know.
Whether it's a tragic mistake or something far more sinister, the story of Ashlee Jenae serves as a stark reminder. Watch who you keep in your circle and be careful of the bridges you burn on your way there. Because when the smoke clears, your preferences won't save you from an actual predator. Now, what do you guys think? Is Joe McCann hiding the truth, or is this just a case of toxic situation hitting a breaking point? Drop a comment below and let me know your thoughts. Make sure y'all.
All right, y'all. So, as far as he talking about preferences or like social media personality online, um, I don't really know too much about her, but that could have just been her online persona to, you know, gain the following that she had. I'm not sure, allegedly. You know what I'm saying? But I still don't believe that anybody should be trolling her or saying anything negative about her passing. You know what I'm saying? So rest in peace to her, and prayers go out to her family, and hopefully they get some answers. And um, if this wasn't an accident, which it doesn't seem like it based on the different evidence that's being presented, may their family get justice. You feel me? Let me know how y'all feel about this in the comments, or if you have any other information, let me know. All right, y'all. Peace and love.